kind of tune in on the stuff you want to focus on.
Right.
Okay, all set?
Yep.
Welcome to HARB November 6th, 2024 meeting. Thank you for coming and joining us in our efforts to preserve our city's architectural resources. Membership on this board includes registered architect Joe Phillips, Nick Nikolov, architect, real estate brokers Diana Hodgson and Joseph McGavin, residents and business owners within the historic district, Rodman Young and Connie Kostupak, and Bethlehem's chief building official, Michael Simonson. Applicants for a certificate of appropriateness will be reviewed in the order in which they were received. Mr. Phillips will describe the proposed changes as well as significant features of the buildings and describe the standards that apply to each project. Approved changes to district structures are based on Bethlehem's historic ordinance and the Secretary of Interior standards. Applicants will present their proposals and the board members will ask questions or hold discussion with the applicant. Project presentations are limited to 45 minutes and 5 minutes for comments from each visitor. A motion is made and additional discussion may ensue before the vote is taken. The motion may approve the submission as made, approve with modifications, or deny with clear reasons why the proposal does not meet the qualifications. It may also be tabled with a list of clarifications needed to allow the board to make a COA recommendation. The recommendation of this board is then submitted to City Council for issuance or denial of the COA. An appeal to City Council may be made by an owner who disagrees with the decision made by HARB. Recommendations made today will be acted upon by City Council at their next meeting, which is typically on the first and third Tuesdays. No work can begin until approval is received. Anyone here commenting on today's presentations? Okay. Did everybody sign in? The guests? Okay. Board members, any conflicts? Okay. Are there questions or comments from the meetings, the minutes from last month's meeting? No. If not, how about a motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you. Everybody happy with that?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Aye.
All righty.
Ready?
Yep, we're ready.
All right. Item number 1 is 346 West Street. Just as a note, since this project includes an addition, new construction addition, the applicant did meet with staff. Connie and I were present at that meeting. So they have gotten some input from us and from staff on this. That was a week and a half ago or something like that. Applicant, owner of the property located at 346 West Street, proposes to demolish a 1960s concrete block garage structure and an enclosed rear porch. A new addition will be constructed at the rear of the home and will contain a walkout basement, family room on the first floor, and a bedroom on the second floor. There's a list of materials in that I provided you with in my meeting prep. Siding on the main addition is proposed to be vinyl double 4-inch clapboard siding in a Savannah wicker color. The siding on the gable end is vinyl board and batten, Savannah wicker color. Soffit, vinyl B-board, Savannah wicker color. The fascia is a dark bronze color. Gutters and downspouts proposed are aluminum K-style gutters and rectangular downspouts. The foundation wall proposed is cultured stone and a blended color. And I believe you said that was used somewhere else.
This board previously approved that for a job we did a couple years ago. Not really nice on Market Street.
The rear door proposed, the new rear door is a Therma-Tru smooth door with simulated divided lights painted to match the bronze colored windows. So the windows in the house, the sash are a dark brown or bronze color. The trim is more like the Savannah wicker color.
Correct.
So the door will match the bronze color. The proposed windows are Anderson 400 series with simulated divided lights, 1 1/8 inch muttons to match the existing windows. Again, painted dark bronze color to match the existing window sash. Window trim is 4-inch wide exterior trim with dark brown, bronze. It said cladding. Are you going to clad that or paint that?
Anderson makes a prefabricated window trim. It snaps on right up against the window. So it's the same product as the window.
Okay. All right. Shingles, roof shingles, GIF, slate line shingles, antique slate color. And just one thing to note that your decisions this evening will have consequence in the future. They're hoping to do some work on the front of the house. While the addition faces the back, there's kind of an alley there, and then there's 378.
Sure.
There's trees along 378. There is a little gap behind this house, but so the proposed work that we're looking at tonight is at the rear of the property, but you are going to be setting a precedent perhaps for work in the future. So just wanted to remind you of that. As far as character defining features, it's a 2-story residence built as part of the expansion of West Bethlehem around 1880. Single family home is similar to others on West Street, which is a residential street, and is on the edge of the historic district. So the front facade of these homes back up to 378, but the front facade on West Street, they form the western border of the historic district. 3-base smooth brick facade, has 2/2 double hung windows. There's shallow arched heads and heavy sills. The first floor entrance with a bracket supported hood is located on the leftmost bay. And the first floor windows have 2-panel solid panel shutters, and the second floor fitted with 2-panel louvered shutters. I included in my prep the guideline citations, number 2, number 5, number 6, number 9, and number 10 from the Secretary of Interior. And it talks about number 9 in particular, new additions, exterior alterations, or related new construction will not destroy historic materials, features, and spatial relationships that characterize the property. The new work shall be differentiated from the old and will be compatible with historic materials, features, size, scale, proportion, and massing to protect the integrity of the historic property and its environment. If you can remember for some past meetings with new buildings and additions, I've also included, I won't read through them, but the Bethlehem Historic District Design Guidelines about scale, building form, and massing, setback, site coverage, architectural elements and projections, alignment, rhythm, and spacing, facade proportions, trim and detail, and materials. So that was a lot, but we do want to make sure we look at additions and new construction to be sure it's compatible with an existing building or the district. So I'll be quiet.
Okay.
Said enough. Anything that you would like to particularly add or go?
Yes, one thing I do want to add is this is on the edge of the historic district. I believe before Route 378 was installed, I believe this was all one cohesive district, but I think 78 kind of segregated this off to the side a little bit. And it seems to have been forgotten about because the entire neighborhood, if you look in the first section I have here with the brick house, pages 11, 12, show what the neighborhood looks like. There's not a lot of historic in that historic district. Most of the houses have vinyl siding, LP brick coat, K gutters. The house right next door to it has bay windows, a pressure treated deck, sliding doors, architectural shingles. It's just, the neighborhood is not really what I would think of as the historic district. There's also very little visibility from the back of the property. There's a little used alley that's back there. I think it's called Kraus Lane.
It is.
And if you're driving by on 378 at 70 miles an hour, like everybody does, you're not stopping and looking at the back of this property. So I don't think there's a lot of view from the rear public right of way. which is why we're proposing to do some of the things we're doing, which is vinyl siding, which all the homes have in that neighborhood, which is K-gutter, which is what the house already has on it now, so we'd be matching up what's there.
Looks like it has round gutters on it.
On this house we have right here. I can.
Can you blow it up?
Can't blow these up because
I'm sorry?
Is there-
it's a part of this package.
Doesn't blow up if you hit the plus sign there.
Here's the front of the house, K-gutter on it
Mm.
and straps,
Mhm.
which that just makes K-gutter look worse is when they put those old straps on it. The new gutter we use doesn't have that.
So that's the street facing facade.
That's the street facing facade right there.
What are they looking to do in the future that you think is going to have, this is going to have a precedence to?
Well, they want to do, I think he's mentioned windows and possibly.
So you got some way you want to
gutters.
do windows and then change the color all the way around the house so it's cohesive. This is the property owner. And we're also proposing Anderson Series 400 windows, which should divide a light. I have a little samples over here.
Well,
I want to use the wire button that matches what's on the house now. And it would be a true divided light. And they wouldn't be covered by storm windows like the front of the house is right now.
Right.
'Cause I think personally, a good quality window with a true divided light that you can actually see, I think looks a lot better than storm windows covering up the old windows, personally. That doesn't look very historic to me. That's just my opinion.
now are those vinyl windows?
That is a wood frame window with cladding over it. I think in the past, I think we were talking about you approved FiberX.
Yeah, the FiberX finish.
I've never heard of that, and the only reason why is because I don't use them, because that's the Series 100, which is the basement grade Anderson window. And
Yeah.
and it's also what
there were marbles.
it's also what Anderson Renewal uses. That's their replacement version of Anderson's, and it's just a low quality window. And I would not put that in my
So
client's.
what is the cladding then? Is it vinyl
It's
clad?
aluminum clad?
Aluminum clad.
Oh, it is aluminum clad?
I drove by the property.
Mhm.
And I don't see, I mean, I don't see any significance on the back of the property to being an historic district. I mean, I'd have a different view if they were looking at wanting to change the front of the property,
Absolutely.
because I wouldn't look at, just because the neighbors had done something in the past, that we should give it a free ride, or just because something's been approved for the back. I think it has to be noted that we're not necessarily going to look at, skating by on what they do on the front
Right.
based upon what they do on the back. But I don't know, I don't see any issue with it.
Do any of the changes that you're proposing in the back, I know you said there's there's future work that's gonna happen there. Are any of these changes in the back gonna later affect some of the changes? Is there gonna be any changes to the front?
I think other than changing the color, I don't think so.
We would just match the color and,
Of the windows?
yes, and the issue and everything, the gutters we would match all.
Okay.
But the windows are going to be changed to match.
Not in the front, no.
Oh,
Not at this
not
time,
those.
but in the future.
In the
probably.
In the future.
That's not up to me. I don't.
So you don't, okay.
They are very into the historic preservation of the old house, so I'm pretty sure they want to keep the original windows facing the front facade for obvious reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, this house is from 1890. You're gonna spend a lot to reinforce the entire house and support it on the inside. It looks like there was probably 1970s, where they took a lot of character out of the first floor, and we're gonna spend a lot of time putting the character back in the first floor, putting the proper moldings on the baseboard, but it's just bringing it back to life on the inside.
So yeah, to just summarize then, I mean, the work is really at the back of the property.
Yeah, and there's a picture from the
I think
back.
what they're proposing looks better than what's there now.
Thank you.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's the back of the property?
That's if you stop on 378 and don't get run over, you get to take that picture.
So yeah, it's pretty far back. Yeah.
So that garage comes down,
That garage comes
This
down.
comes down.
parking in that
That's
area.
right, all street parking. It's also going to improve access to because that goes from property line to property line. So we have no way to access the rear property with that garage there.
So refresh my memory on the downspouts. The downspouts on the back
Or K gutter,
and the downspouts currently on the front of the house
or
are
K gutter.
And you're not changing the ones on the back.
We're not changing anything with the existing houses at all for the addition that we're doing.
Okay.
So the K gutters that are gonna be on the new addition are gonna match the existing?
In style, yes. And then once they repaint. then
No.
the
Maybe
next
not
phase-
color. I'm not worried about the color necessarily because you still have renovations to be done.
Right,
But they're gonna match them in style and
they will.
look.
And the soffit on the front of the house, is that vinyl,
It looks like 1970s aluminum
aluminum?
soffit.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the soffit I like to use instead of that. This is the wrong color. This is the color we're gonna be using, but I like to use this beaded soffit because it looks like old school beaded wainscoting from years ago.
And that-
Just using 333 or the cheapest.
That aluminum?
That's all vinyl.
Vinyl.
They don't make that aluminum anymore, unfortunately.
I'm going to ask another question about the downspouts. It's just bothered me. Because since we're into the historic area,
Mm-hmm.
to reflect that and to stay in harmony, is there a reason why we can't go to the round, half rounds and?
The reason that fell out of favor is because they're highly inefficient. They can't handle the volume of water that comes off of them. They're a very low radius and they overflow all the time, especially during a heavy rain. The K gutter is much deeper and actually handles a larger volume of water. And it just, that's why the half round fell out of favor.
Except with the historic district. right?
Except for the historic district. And the fact that this already has K gutter and both of the neighbors' homes have K gutter. And at the angle of the addition, you're not really gonna see it unless you're standing on the neighbor's roof looking up.
The di-
Because the addition we're doing is coming out here. Okay, can you see what the gutter is there?
Yeah.
Or here? You're not
I
really
understand.
gonna see it
But
from,
then on the front of the neighbor's house, what did they have? They had
this is the back of the property we're looking at. But
I
the neighbor's
understand.
house to that side has K gutter on it also.
on that side,
Yeah.
what they have on the
What
front.
do they have in the front?
Well, I don't know if I have a front view of the neighbor.
Yes.
Right there it is. Gray vinyl siding and K gutter and architectural shingles. I have a better picture. You're gonna pass it around and see.
Pardon me?
If I can have it.
I'll make a motion. I make a motion to approve the demolishing the 1960s concrete block garage structure and adding the enclosed, that's not right, enclosed rear porch and constructing a new addition at the rear of the home in accordance with the discussion outlined above and the guideline citations outlined below.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Did we mention the color? I just want to make sure we have
The
the,
color is in. Yeah,
It's in the citations, okay.
Yep.
And the Anderson is in Joe's update.
okay. And we didn't even talk about the shingles yet. So I just want to touch on those.
Okay.
Yeah.
GAF slate line shingles, antique slate, which this board has approved many a times. And also, given the picture was up there before, you're not gonna see it from the rear of the property anyway. It's also gonna be 40 feet in the air. So if somebody has a drone, they might notice it, but other than that,
The big reason why, I mean, I look at this with what they want to do in that location. The alley is not really that passable. I mean, it's, you can get to it. There's no reason for anybody to go in that alley for anything else.
Right.
And on 378, I mean, nobody's gonna see it.
Oh, no, I don't disagree with that. I just want to make sure we capture everything.
Right.
Yeah,
Because we had an addendum.
Correct.
The,
I'm
as far as I know, everything in the meeting prep
It's in
is
this.
covered in the event.
Yes.
so
That answers that.
is there any paint, and I apologize, but is there any painting going on to the existing structure?
No.
So there's no touching of the existing structure other than whatever's going to be on there new?
Correct.
I'll double check that.
I actually think when I look at the drawings, I think that it's an improvement over what's there.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we try to do.
There's no doubt about that.
That's what they want to do.
I have a problem with all the vinyl. I have a problem with K-gutters. I have a problem with everything that we're allowing to have happen here on the bleeding edge of this historic district. That is not happening and would be poo-pooed on this side of town.
However,
However,
the big thing is view. So if somebody wants to do this on the back of their house and it's not really gonna be seen from an artery, then it's not an issue. And I think that the issue here on this particular property, and if you wanna make the exception in the notes to it, is that this property is not something that is gonna be seen from any other right of way.
So Joe, I think, yes, you're correct in that. But when this comes to us for the front,
And the note that I said is that this does not set a precedence for what they're gonna do on the front. The front is gonna is totally separate because that's gonna be right there viewed, whereas what's on the back is, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is like somebody going and doing this in their backyard and you can't see it.
well,
You're not gonna see it from 378. It's just not gonna be seen, and nobody's gonna be driving down the alley.
Because it does say that on page 10 of the specs, it says the public right of way, and our public right of way there is very limited.
But it's there.
But it's there.
It's correct. It's there, but
Right.
it's like you said, I mean, it's like somebody driving down is not going to be looking at the houses that are a couple hundred feet. I mean, how far is this from 378?
100, but you saw that picture there.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. Can't even make out the details of the house.
Or 200 feet. 100 feet.
I understand that the alley is there, but I just think that to go and say to somebody, well, we want you to not use vinyl siding on this particular structure where it is, to me, does not make sense. When you have somebody going and doing this much of an improvement to what's there.
I take no issue with the vinyl siding on the back. Because it's not going to repeat itself on the front. It's not going to, set that precedence for the front of the house.
I think it just needs to be noted that, this is not setting a precedent for what anybody else can do, that this is not something that's really viewable from a public art, although
Okay, so
the alley is a public artery, but who's going down that alley?
Okay, so Joe, in your opinion, you've heard more of these than any one of us. What do you think?
Well, I don't think you see it from 378 because you should be watching where you're driving. Most of that between 378 and the alley, there are trees that we're supposed to count on vegetation. There actually is a little gap at this property in the back. I have noted, as long as this doesn't become a precedence for anything that's happening from this addition forward in the future, it is in the back of the house and the houses are pretty tight together. So I think any view of this is very minimal from West Street.
Diana, is that?
Well, I guess I just don't want this to blow back on the rest of the neighbors here or the rest of the residents here in historic district. They could say that their alley is an alley, and that it's not seen by High Street, and they want to put this, that, and the other thing on it.
I think this is kind of a unique strip of,
I agree. I mean, I live in the neighborhood. I know
Yeah.
what that street is. I've been in this house 2 or 3 times when it's been on sale. I mean, I'm well aware of what the area is. That's my opinion, Tom.
But if somebody wants to come in and say, this is a precedent that you've set, we can go to this and say, we're not setting a precedent, and this is an exception to whatever would be done. I mean, if you were to say, I want to do something back here on Long Street, which really is an alley, it's not the same as what you have on this particular alley. I think this alley is 1 block. Am I correct?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
And it comes out underneath one of the arches of the street ramp, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, we all walk down it to get to Music Fest.
It's my time.
Yeah, we're trying to keep with the old character, the character of the old house, and we're gonna do a lot of stonework on the bottom level, blend in with the old. So it brings it all the way around. Try to bring it together. And that's something we thought about, like just for the character's sake, we're trying to take that into consideration as we remodel this and take care of this old building.
yeah, because there is a partial stone foundation that just peeks out there in the back, right?
Not even on the back.
On the right
On the
hand.
left side, yeah, there's a little part of it.
Can I ask you a question as the homeowner? Would you consider the K gutter on the back of the house?
You mean around gutter?
Well, around it.
Half round.
I'm sorry.
We don't even know the difference. We just thought we liked the color scheme of the dark bronze with brick and the Savannah wicker because that matched the trim on the windows. All the colors seemed to work really well together. And that's what we were looking at from that side. I mean, I leave it to Bill as the expert in this to recommend the different pieces.
Can the gutter be done in that color in a half round?
It could be, but I just don't know, aside from the board being happy with it, I don't know what practical means that would have.
We can get a 6-inch half round.
Not in bronze, you can. I tried to get that for a job this summer, and they don't have that coil size in that color.
And the other thing is that, I mean, it's,
And there's also some safety issues involved with that. That gutter overflows constantly and ices up the sidewalk down below. Now somebody could slip and fall on it. But I'm also not gonna let that hold up
the gutter is also, the gutter is also on the side. It's not on the back, correct?
it's on the side, yeah, so I said you can't see it.
It's on the side. It's not on the back.
Joe, I think you're missing this. It's not that. It's the front eventually that we're worried about.
I understand that. And what we're doing is we make a note in here in the approval.
And I
But-
think Diana has a point about,
I also think between the homeowner and myself, if we decide to do anything in the front of the house, we're not putting K gutter in the front of the house. That's hideous. It wasn't my decision to put it on there. It's already there now.
Right, right. But now the next thing is that if you're worried about the gutters that you're going to put on, and they're on the side of the house. So the reality of it is that the gutters are not seen from a public right of way.
But they are. I understand what you're saying, but they are. There's a public right of way behind the house. I mean, it's not the most ideal public right of way. It's the small, but it's still public right of way. It's still to be seen from there. But the point is, I think what everybody's trying to say is that what takes a right of way away from behind one of these houses when you're not really driving on it, just foot traffic. It's one and the same. So, I mean, I know we're just arguing over gutters, but I mean, it's more of a future down the line that I only have a little alley behind my house. What does it matter? That's the
But the
argument.
point that I'm saying, Mike, is that the street goes this way.
Mhm.
And the gutters are this way. So technically, it would be different if the street is this way and the gutters are this way, then you're looking directly at the gutters.
Down the back, I can see them. They're coming right down the back of the building.
You can see them from West Street.
No. No, go to the next, go to
They're
the
on
picture
side.
below that.
Yeah, they're on the side.
For the new
I mean,
construction.
Yeah,
The new construction, yeah, we're only talking
Right.
about the new construction.
I mean, they're still viewed from the right of way, if you want to be technical.
Well, yeah,
And that's what I'm afraid
And
of.
it's also 200 feet away from the right of way where you can't even make out what.
That doesn't matter.
I get it.
Doesn't matter?
I get it.
You still can see it.
And yeah, and I'm not arguing the project itself. I think it's a great project.
If we make everybody happy to put half round gutters on, we can put half round gutters on. It's not the end of the world.
Okay. And will you rephrase your motion?
Pardon me?
Are you going to rephrase your motion or?
We can add on to the motion that after what I did, guideline citations and outline below, the gutters will be changed from K gutters to half round gutters. How was that?
Round downspouts.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have a quick question on,
Mhm.
oh, what,
No, go ahead.
after we vote, it's just for the homeowners.
Oh, okay. Second.
All right, motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Made by Joe, seconded by Connie. Any further conversation? Hearing none. Diana?
Yes.
Joe made the motion, Connie second, Mike.
Yes.
And Nick's not here. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just have a quick question. How are you tying into this? How are you tying into the house there?
That window is going to become a doorway to
Okay.
the new apartment. It's small.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was just curious.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to hold up the vote.
No, it's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, city council votes the end of November on that then.
Well, do you want these plans? Money.
They do, and unfortunately, I don't need them back. Yeah, we don't, we use
Tonight.
PDFs on our iPads for everything. That's another quick thing why I have a minute. The application for this is a little outdated. The application I filled out. There's no room for the email address up here. On the back of here, the columns don't line up. It's very confusing as to what dates and times and everything works out. And also, I did not get the HARB guidelines until I met with you guys last week. I didn't even know these existed until last week. That should be on the application. And there could even be a QR code to scan to go to the website where this is at. So just
Agreed.
for future, just so you guys know, make it easier for everybody else.
Good comment.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good night.
Yeah,
Good night.
Good night.
Nice to meet you. Okay.
Steve, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
How's everybody?
Well,
Hey, how are you?
It's the best as we can be today.
all right.
As best as we can be today.
131 East Church Street.
If the country is really happy.
The applicant owner of the property located at 131 East Church Street proposes to construct a 5-foot-high brick wall in front of the home. The wall is proposed to be approximately 5 feet high with slightly higher 5-foot-8-inch piers. Wall curves up in the center to meet the taller piers with gas lamps on each pier and a custom wrought iron center gate. The intent is to be compatible with a 1939 Georgian Revival style home and to enhance the streetscape. The wall will not obscure the home from the street. The proposed brick would match the house and the brick used at the rear of the property on Wesley Street. So that wall of the property received HARB approval in 2019, it said in the application. The pier caps will be either cast stone or limestone that is appropriately tapered to shed water. The wrought iron gate will be painted black. The lamps on the piers on each side of the gate will, it says ideally be gas, although they are considering electric lamps as an alternative. As briefly mentioned above, character defining features, two-story Georgian Revival home, a 3-bay smooth brick facade topped with a slate hipped roof, constructed in 1939. The home is set back from the sidewalk nearly 7 feet and on a slight rise, and that helps the wall not to conceal the house. The smooth brick facade is punctuated with 8/12 double hung windows on the first floor and 8/8 light double hung windows on the second. First floor windows are fitted with 3-panel raised panel shutters. Second floor windows are fitted with 3-panel louvered shutters. And the entrance door is centered on the facade and is embellished with a column supported surround. Just one note that this is coming before us, before it has received zoning approval. Christine emailed me. I don't have a problem with that. Whatever we do is not going to get approved till they get zoning approval.
Yes, and
So,
if zoning is not forthcoming, obviously this work wouldn't get done.
yeah, so somebody's got to go first, and rather than wait for zoning, I thought it was fine to
Appreciate that.
do it tonight.
Yeah.
Where the
Just-
property needed it though.
The one thing I did notice going by the property, and your relief from zoning is for height, is that correct?
Yes,
One thing I did notice as you're looking at it, the property on the right, there's a fence that comes out and there's a gate right in the corner, and that's got to be at least 6 feet high
yes.
or more. I mean, because the grade dips down there, and so, as usual, it's well detailed, I think, and so on. So
What is the zoning relief seeking over the 6 foot?
So the zoning only allows 4 feet.
Oh, in
the
front yards. Okay.
Front yards.
I
Now,
got
his fence, his brick wall at the back was permitted to be at 6 feet.
Correct.
But the front is limited to 4. And so I will be getting that submitted for the zoning relief. But felt that coming here first made more sense, because if you got the zoning relief but you didn't approve of it, it's kind of a waste of a good bit more money to go there. But the owner is a world traveler, and he has seen many things, Charleston and London and France, and really wants to enhance the property. It is not about trying to obscure anything. He just feels that he actually wanted it a little bit taller. I said, what if we bring it down some? I think you can't go much lower without the scale being ridiculous. Right? So part of that, it's at least 50 feet wide. We've got 70 feet back to the house. His motivation is to really enhance his property.
So what is this, Christine?
This little side gate, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I think he wants the main gate not to be the one he uses, and he goes through the little side gate.
right.
I didn't actually quiz him on why he wanted it that way. But I think he's also looking at whether he could find some historic gates. At the moment, these gates are built up of available king metals or something that we put together. But if he were to find historic gates that would fit, I think he would like to do that. And obviously we'd come back to.
So what is that overall height on that thing?
Looks about 7 feet.
The opening is about 7 feet, and then it's about, I think in my zoning application, it's not quite 7 feet, and the peak is at most 8 feet, I think, or slightly over 8.
Gate is 6'10" and something, 10 and a half or something.
Oh, maybe it was 8'6", I think, to the,
It's just the dimensions.
And this property.
And that is the side that has the fence
Yes.
and the higher gate, the neighbor, yeah.
And actually, this is a little redo of.
Yep, I have it up on a screen there.
Yeah, and I have it just set back a little bit further in this rendering.
Yeah, there it's right up to the sidewalk.
So then Christine, when you hit the corners of the front of this wall, to go back is going to be a new fence?
So he's
Or is
planning
there
to
an
brick as
existing
well. No, apparently, I don't believe there is an existing fence on
Oh,
the
I see.
sides.
No.
No, there's not. There's a
nothing.
picture right here.
And-
Is the picture of existing.
So you're asking what the return is on the right
Yes,
side?
thank you. Yeah.
So I believe he's going back at least to the house on,
On both
I don't,
sides.
it's not in the rendering, actually.
Oh, in both sides.
So he would
Yeah, both
turn this
sides.
back
Turn
along.
that and just keep
Yeah, but I
going.
mean, we've got a tree there, so I'm
Yeah,
not
but he
exactly
would
sure how.
turn those back in and take them back to the house. Okay.
That was the intent in plan to do that, if you look at the plan. We might have to sort of great beam over the
Yeah,
great beam over the tree roots.
yeah, you're right. Well, I'll leave that to you to decide. I mean, I really like the fence. I think it fits well. I just don't know, and it's really not for us to decide if zoning's gonna want you to set it back a little bit off the curb line or whatever it may be. It's mid-block though, right? So it's not, there's no
It's not
site
No
triangles or
site
anything?
triangles.
Okay.
The right of way for the street, that puts you about 5 feet from the sidewalk
Okay.
to be out of the right of way.
So does the brick match the house exactly?
That's the intent. And he did it at the back and it was really close.
Okay. And where does the back one go? Like, I knew at the back, but I mean, does it return up to the house too?
It goes almost up to the house and there's like I think he has a gate. And that's a pool surround actually, and that was
Oh.
for privacy back there on the alley.
So this being the street, this is the right side gate, so this is new wall too, and
Yeah.
it returns back to the house. And same thing on the left.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if he's going to do all of that. I mean, I think once he gets some pricing, he might back off a little of that.
Yeah, but you don't have the height problem there.
No.
Because it's not the
size-
front.
That's right.
But he's better to ask for it all now.
Yeah, that was my thinking for now for
Yeah.
the HARB was that it would extend back and connect into the system that he has.
Yeah.
So then he's creating a big brick square in
Rectangle.
a rectangle
Yeah.
in it,
Yeah.
okay. And then are any trees have to come out? Make
Don't want
this
to take,
happen?
yeah, I don't want to take trees out,
Yeah.
so. As I said, we'll either slightly shrink it when we get past.
Mhm.
So I saw lights. Are they gas or?
He would love to do gas, and that's his absolute preference. The only reason I put electric there is just for some reason that's not possible, is that he would back off to the electric, but he absolutely would love to do the gas.
Would it be a very similar design if it was electric or?
Yes, and this comes in both.
Oh, okay,
Design.
okay.
Is that natural copper then too?
Yeah, real copper.
Grand.
Looks wonderful.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
A second the motion.
I heard you. One second. Let's
Oh, it's not- it's
let's
not voted
formalize
on
it.
yet.
I'm just
Everybody's got to get their.
trying to get my notes. All right, so motion by Mike, second by, was that Connie?
Diana.
Diana, sorry. See that? All right, so he's not here and he's not there. All right, motion's been made and seconded. Any further comment? Hearing none. Connie?
Aye.
Diana made the second. Joe?
Yes.
And Mike made the motion. Motion carries unanimously.
Very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Barrier. Fortress.
You said it.
Yeah, but the nice part is he does have the yard there, and I mean, it's not, there's
And
room
from
to
this-
breathe between that.
The street, the house has no presence on the street.
Yeah, you really don't even, you
Right by,
go
you don't
by
even
and
know
you
it's
never
there.
even know.
And it's-
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I drove by and had to slow down to find it.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
can see
so
the
that's-
slow grade that it goes up on. It's gonna look, I
It'll be
mean,
beautiful.
it's gonna look great.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna catch
Very
much of the
stately.
bottom of the house in the sight
Yeah,
line.
yeah, it's,
Yeah, it's gonna look sharp.
well, I appreciate that. Quite a dilemma on your vinyl siding and on the last one. You know,
What's that?
I'm just commenting on the last
Town
project.
spots and everything.
What's your
Yeah.
take?
Yeah, I mean, are you gonna be like to the letter or, you know, how do you, for me it is, how do you qualify it, which I think you're trying to
Yeah.
come up with so that it doesn't become the precedent. And even though distance isn't really maybe the right answer, in this case, that might be the way to qualify it, is that you're like, what, 200 feet?
Yeah.
And truly at 200 feet, it is very hard to distinguish the difference between a vinyl siding and a,
Yeah.
fiber cement, let's say. So that would be my only thought, but it is, you just don't want that precedent.
Man.
Well, you don't want the
When
precedent.
they come back.
You don't want the precedent, but I think that, because again, I drove past that one too. And I think that what's gonna be there is a fantastic improvement.
And that's why it's like,
It'll be gorgeous.
I think you did the right thing, I just know, how do you
Yeah.
qualify it?
By simply saying that we're not setting the precedent.
And you've got.
And this is an
these-
exception.
and that is a unique situation.
It's unique. It's on the edge. I mean, I have talked to PHMC in the past about composite materials and so on, and they do distinguish between primary facades and secondary
Absolutely.
facades. And
Yeah.
so,
Also, the last thing I was kind of thinking about it was it does state in it, it's got to differentiate itself from the existing if it's a new addition.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that gives them a little leeway, a little reasoning there too, that,
That's great.
you know what I mean?
it
Like,
sounds like whatever they do, if anything, to the front of the house, they want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Well, they're spending a lot of money to do that addition, rip down demolish the garage, put parking in and do the addition. I mean, it's,
Oh, I'm not downplaying
Yeah,
that at all. I
just-
just don't want somebody from.
I agree.
From over here trying to use the same or similar.
correct.
Rationale.
Yeah,
But I think that
Are we,
I don't know of any alleys in this particular area around here that are similar to that at all.
or so distant,
Pardon me?
Distance.
or so distant from,
Yeah.
the house, and usually they're right.
Yeah, they're right there. I mean, it's just these,
It's right up.
the alley, they're just so, the character of the alleys here is so different to look at.
Oh, I live in one.
Pardon me?
There's an alley behind our house.
Raspberry?
Mhm.
But
can I?
the
move
alley
to
behind
stop
your
the
house,
meeting?
pardon me?
Can I move the end of the
Oh, yeah,
meeting?
yeah. I'll
We have
second.
We have a motion, a second.
Don't know if we want all of that conversation.
I
Aye.
wasn't documenting that.
Yeah, all right. So I don't know if anybody else is going to be watching